is all about the state of the nation. Yes, people have been talking about the state of Nigerians. They've been talking about their well-being, economy, security, power, health, agriculture, education, you just name it. Everything come together to make us as a nation either happier or sad. Yeah, are Nigerians happy? Can you say that you are happy as a Nigerian? Former chairman of APC, Odigie Oyego, talked about the happiness of Nigeria from his own expressions on the print media. He said that Nigerians are not that happy. And people have been reacting to it. Some of the opinion that he is not in a position to say that. After all, he was one time the chairman of the national body. While many are like saying that he hit the nail on the head. How many Nigerians are you seeing smiling this time around? And of course, also former President Gowon talked about the prospect of a president coming up from the East in 2023. How feasible is that from calculations and political permutation? Is it going to happen come 2023? We're going to focus first on the happiness of Nigerians, all encompassing talk surrounding the well-being of Nigerians in the state of the nation. We here in the studio, talk about early riser. He was here very, very early to show you that he has the interests of Nigerians, even Edo citizens at heart. Join me to welcome a political activist, a politician, an entrepreneur, both local and international politics is well grounded. Join me to welcome Chief Patrick Iholo, Ultimate Equal. Welcome to the show, sir. I appreciate your coming.
Good morning, viewers.
Right. And sitting very close to him is a legal practitioner and, of course, the PRO of our Nigerian Bar Association. We talk about the Benin branch, but on this platform, he's representing himself, not the association. He is a legal practitioner, a political analyst, but local and international politics is well grounded. Join me to welcome Barrister Douglas Obankwa. Barrister Douglas, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
I appreciate your coming.
And
Happy New Year to all of you.
Happy New Year, yes.
So very close to Douglas Obankwa is an Islamic scholar, but a very vibrant legal practitioner, an activist, local and international politics. He's well grounded. Join me to welcome Barrister Alao Amin. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate your coming.
Thank you very much.
All right, and of course, Happy New Year to all of you. Yeah. So now, let's start off with the aspect of the happiness of Nigerians, because it came out last week when former APC chairman was interviewed, when he was asked about the state of the nation, the well-being of Nigerians. He was like, from what he's seen, from what he's feeling, that we are not really happy. Ultimate Equal, take it up from there.
Well, good morning, viewers. Well, for me, I think happiness is a state of the mind. What makes me happy might not make you happy. We know that there are ups and downs. There are issues, political issues, there are economic issues. There are a lot of things that's happening in our country today. We all wish it gets better. But again, when you are saying Nigeria as a country, we are not happy, I think it's likely impossible to express that. For me, there's what they call a pursuit of happiness. What is happiness? Can you define it? Happiness is not about having that much money and then seeing other people living in an abject poverty. Happiness is not about having luxuries of cars or having many houses. Happiness is not about having a lot of wives or girlfriends. Happiness is not about having the most key position. But then if I say these are not happiness, what is happiness? So I would let the very educated people and the scholars, they find happiness.
Thank you so much for laying a strong and firm foundation for this discourse talking about happiness. Well, you've heard Patrick Eholo, a patriot. He defined happiness in his own terms. He said, if you said all are not happy, that happiness may vary. Douglas Obankwa, over to you.
I'll start with the definition of Jeremy Bentham, who said that happiness is the surplus of joy over pain. And I think there's no other country that definition fits into than Nigeria, because the country whose citizens endure a lot of pain. I remember the very prophetic words of Fela Anikulapo Kuti. Nigerians are always suffering and smiling at the same time. It's a very funny country. Everybody is wearing a smile. We don't know whether they are happy or they just want to make people feel that they are happy. A lot of comedy shows here and there. People are laughing. They pay to laugh, maybe to kill the stress. So, however, to come to the crux of the matter, are Nigerians really happy? My answer will be in the negative. I don't think Nigerians are happy people, particularly because some of them have had the opportunity of going outside the country and then they know what real happiness is all about. Real happiness is having critical infrastructure. You having access to good health, sometimes without even paying a dime. We have scenarios of Nigerians going to America to give birth. You don't even have to pay a kobo. Even when you're not even a citizen, all you have to do is that they'll give you time to pay for whatever medical expenses that you would have incurred. Here in Nigeria, such a scenario, it's not possible. You see people die because they couldn't pay deficits of even as small as 10,000 naira. We do not have a social security scheme in place in this country. Those are some of the things that give people happiness. If you do not have a job, you should have access to welfare scheme. The truth of the matter is that the prevalence of suicide rates in any country will tell you how happy the people are. In Nigeria, the suicide rate is very, very high. In fact, one of the highest in the world. The ones we see being reported on television or by the media are the ones that are being reported. There are a lot of people who commit suicide in this country who don't ever know about or even attempted suicide. So the national chairman, former national chairman of APC, saying that Nigerians are not really happy. I think he would have done a little bit of a prognosis of the situation. I've come to an irreversible conclusion that Nigerians are not really happy. For you to be happy, you must have, the good things of life. I woke up this morning without electricity. I slept without electricity. So, according to Adams Oshomole in Nigeria, officially we have 774 local governments, but unofficially we have like 140 million local governments because everybody in Nigeria is a local government. You have to provide your own electricity, provide your own borehole, you tie your own roads, you have to have your own security, your megad. You have to do virtually everything for yourself. So the situation is very, very dire, and I think that we find happiness in other ways. We go to church in the morning, we dance, everybody is happy. After that, you come to reality, and all that. So that's just the truth.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Barrister Douglas Obankwa. Barrister Alao Amin, what's your reactions to their own contribution?
Thank you very much. I will take it from where they have stopped.
Okay.
Because they have beautifully spoken. And I'll take it up from there. In the sense that I'll be asking, if Nigerians are not happy, what is the cause of their unhappiness? Or who is responsible for Nigerians not being happy? That is a very big question. I'm not happy. Why are you not happy? What is responsible for you not being happy? If you decide to be the architect of your own misfortune, then you have yourself to blame. The Prophet ﷺ said in one tradition, for example, if you say, oh, the leaders, bad leaders, the Prophet says, your leaders will be as you deserve. your leaders will be as you deserve. If you stay on the queue on election day and you are eager to collect 3,000 naira or 5,000 naira to change your mind to vote for a candidate you never intended to vote for, and he comes into office and you say you are not happy, who is responsible for your not being happy? Then we look at the issue of contentment as well. It depends on the particular individual. If you talk of national happiness, you see generally Nigerians we are not happy. But we have individuals who are happy. Sometimes when you visit the prisons, you will see some prison inmates, the way they are happy, the way they are going here and there, you wonder, some even free on the streets are not as happy as the inmates because they have accepted their fate. Some of the things that cause us unhappiness generally, like the epileptic power supply, indirectly is also a sort of happiness once in a while. You will just see members of your household sometimes just shouting, "Hey! See what happened? They have got the light." In Britain, in Ghana, they do not enjoy this type of once in a while happiness. That the supply of electricity gives you. You will see in a particular area where the transformer has been bad for about 6 months. When the light is switched on, you see some jubilation. Hey! What is happening? As if the Eagles have won. Hey, they have brought the light. So when we start talking, so some of these things that make us to be unhappy at one time or another, we derive happiness from them. It is not necessarily everything that is free that makes you happy. I do say, if you want free things, of course, go to the prison. The accommodation is free. The feeding is free. But you don't want to be there. You don't want to be government picky. So, generally Nigerians are not happy, but some are happy. Because some have already taken the happiness of others and added it to theirs. They've already taken the commonwealth and they have confiscated it. They have misappropriated it. They have savings that can last billions of years. But how long will you live on earth to enjoy that saving? So, if Nigerians are not happy, we should start thinking of why are we not happy? And then what will make us happy? How can we actually attain real happiness?
All right, you've heard them. They've given their opening speech. Well, I say their opening contribution to this discussion, and they've told you how they measure happiness. Now, one aspect they talked about was the aspect of security. Patrick, he talked about the security challenges we're facing in this country. You, sir, as an activist, what are your opinions and view on that aspect?
You see, if I'm going to discuss about security, we might not have enough time. Barrister Douglas rightly said that we seem to have 700 something local government, but we do have 140 million or over. So we provide security for ourselves. Because the government are not really concerned about security, so that the security we provide for ourselves becomes our own detriment because we don't vet the people we take as security. We call some of them mala, we call some of them abuki, because they're this and that, not trying to bring anybody down, okay? Now, the security issue is a very serious issue in Nigeria. And that's the reason why, since last year, I believe J.F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, but rather what you can do for this country. Now, like you also said, very recent, Barrister Allahu just said, some are in prisons, and those who are in prisons have resolved.
All right, okay, now those are in prisons, they have resolved too.
He said they have resolved to their own fate, okay?
Okay.
I'm just using, I'm citing an example of what I said.
All
See,
right.
whatever happened, whether it's right or wrong, becomes a precedent. So that's why I'm citing the two of them in a very good way.
All right, continue,
okay?
sir. Yeah.
So now, when you talk about security, government are responsible for our security. That is a primary thing. And it's in the Constitution. And they can explain this better as lawyer. I'm not a constitutional lawyer. Okay. I'm not a lawyer, okay? But now, you have a government who came as military dictatorship. Perhaps they were thinking that when they pull off their khaki, they will continue. And then collectively they draft a constitution without our inclusiveness, without a referendum, because we're not part of that constitution. And they said, we are going to be giving so and so states security vote every month. Understand that previously our security vote here was about 400 million. I also understand now that it's over 500 million, perhaps 750 million. I'm just throwing a number. Now, if we were in this society, and you have what they call a security vote that they don't need to explain to us, if any members of my family is kidnapped, I have the right to sue the government because they have failed to provide me security. And Allah also mentioned that on the voting day, some people will sell their right and their life for 3,000 naira, not even 300,000. And this is why those who are interested in participating in politics, they call it dirty. They stay in their house. Those who want to play politics, we call them touts, because they arrest the power to themselves. So if you don't have security, who do you blame other than yourself? We are supposed to go to the street there, have a peaceful agitation, sometimes protest that we don't want to go to the market, sometimes we protest that we don't want to go to the mosque, we protest that we don't want to go to churches, because government govern people. Without us, there's no government. But we are so docile as a people. We are so afraid that when we speak, we are going to die. But let me tell you something. We are dead already. We died in the day we were born. It's by His grace that we are still here talking today. So you must do something to either impart your life or impart the life of others. And that's why since next year, I came out with my own, let me do something. I said, wait, it's the two sides of the story. First of all, I said, the extrajudicial killing must stop. I want to commend the Commissioner of Police today. Came out very strongly to say no policeman has the right to search your phone without a search warrant. I also want to also say that the government has not been responsible for the welfare of the police. And that's why the police people transfer the aggression to their citizens. Everything we do in Nigeria, we do it the backside. And that's why you see a Nigerian will be driving on the wrong side of the road. And that's why you see a drunkard will be controlling the traffic for lawyers and for doctors and for engineers. And this is a drunkard that's supposed to perhaps be in a psychiatric hospital, going through rehabilitation.
Right.
But these are the ones that tells us the direction we should go to. So in the area of security, I think the government has failed us.
All right. Thank you so much for your submission. He has spoken at length. Well, you may not agree with some of his opinion. It's entirely his own opinion. For instance, talking about we are dead the day we are born. Many people say no to it. Yes. Some people say no. And nobody's arguing that. And of course, the aspect of coming in through military dictatorship. This is democracy. All right. Now, let's move on. He talked about security. He said the government of the day, they failed us as a nation. Take it up from there, Barrister Douglas.
I think I'll align myself with my colleague here. You see, the failure of the security architecture in the country is why you have things like civilian JTF in the northeast, Hizbah police, civilian JTF in the northwest, Hizbah police in most part of the northeast. And just last week or last 2 weeks, the southwest launched the operation, the Amotekun.
Yes, Amotekun, yes.
Do you understand? Because though security is on the exclusive legislative list, these people have come to say that these guys cannot protect us. We have to protect ourselves. Edo State used to have the neighborhood watch, which is even a creation of law, but we don't know what's happening to it now. Like in my neighborhood, there was a particular time that we were having challenges with robbers. The police actually tried; they came to our rescue, but the neighbors now on their own said we cannot leave our lives to chance. We have to organize ourselves, and these young boys, they'll come out by 10, they won't leave till 4. That's how we got security. Understand? That's how we got secured, rather. So we must say the truth. First of all, the policing ratio in Nigeria is the poorest in the world. That's one. You have maybe one policeman to as much as maybe maybe 100,000 people. Do you understand? You can go a place of 20 kilometers radius, you will not see a police post in this country. 20 kilometers radius, you won't see a police post. We have too many policemen following VIPs. You see one man who carry 20 policemen, 15 policemen. Then in a place where you have up to 100,000 people, you might not even have one policeman around there. We are not really ready in this country. We have to tell ourselves the truth. Before we can say we are ready, we should start doing things right. Someone who carry 20 policemen is not a senator, is not a governor, just because he's maybe...
And even if...
Yeah, even if he was a governor. I was told the story, someone went to Louisiana, he was talking to there were 3 of them, they were talking. Then the third guy entered his car, Louisiana in the United States, and he drove off. And he said, who is that guy? He said, that's the governor of the state of Louisiana. I saw on television last week Sunday, the Queen of England was going to church, he had just 2 cars. There was no outrider. No Hilux, the Queen, just 2 vehicles, BMWs. So what are we talking about? If the president of Nigeria is to go on a road now, let's say it's going through Sapele Road, do you know that they will block that road from Ring Road to maybe Bypass? And you see maybe 300 cars, 400.
For one person.
One person. You understand? Sometimes it's crazy. We have to really start thinking and think very well. The security of this country, those things that have to do with security, with housing, with education, with health, do you know they are provided for in the Constitution? But do you also know that the makers of the Constitution, knowing that citizens will sue them if they don't provide those facilities, they made that chapter of the Constitution, chapter 2 of the Constitution, what is known as the non-legal rules. That is the non-justiciable rules. You cannot take government to court for not providing housing and education to you. But in South Africa, you can do the same thing. In that particular chapter, they put it there, that provided always that these rights are not enforceable in court. What are rights if they are not enforceable in court? Right. You saw what I'm trying to say. So, we should, that chapter of the Constitution, we should make it enforceable.
Okay.
Why should the government not provide housing for the people? We have bogus housing scheme, national housing scheme. You'll be building duplexes for people that already has mansions to come and add to what they have. The poor people that need the house. When ANC came into power in South Africa, they built 1 million self-contained room and parlor. 1 million units. 1 million. That was how those guys that were in Soweto and all those slum areas in South Africa, that's how they left poverty and they started living like human beings. 1 million units.
All right.
Don't our government, don't they go outside the country and see what happens? Okay. Most times they do their holidays abroad. Okay. Why don't they do their holidays in Nigeria? Because someone out there has provided the paradise. I'll tell you another story. A Nigerian went to New York and the mom now said, I hope you are going to church so that you will make heaven. Do you know what the boy said? Mommy, I am in heaven already. This place I am in is heaven. Where I'm coming from is here.
Of course. All right, okay. Douglas Ogbangwa, please just hold it right there. Hold it right there, okay? We are not in hell in this country. We'll get there eventually, okay?
If hell is better than this, I don't know where you are.
But you said you are happy.
Happiness is a state of mind.
State of mind, okay.
Say that.
I'll come back to you. Barrister Alamin Alao, you've heard them. talking about the security architecture, which was one of the pillars or the focal point of the former APC chairman, talking about Nigerians' happiness. Taking it from there, striking it from the security angle.
Thank you very much. Now, the issue of security is very, very paramount. The Prophet Muhammad said in one tradition that next to faith, no one has been granted anything better than security. To the extent that if you want to observe your prayers and you are not, your life is not secured, instead of the congregational worshiping at once, while some are worshiping, some should be on guard. When those who have finished worshiping, they are now to be on guard. Those who are on guard will now worship. But unfortunately, we see that the issue of security is being trivialized. We attained independence since 1960. Most of our leaders go abroad. They see what is obtained there. Those of us who have not been regular going abroad, we see what is obtained when you watch movies. Up till now, you see, it is the rate of crime and the strategy adopted by the criminals that determines the strategy to combat the crime. When there is kidnapping here and there, banditry, why not have enough helicopters to be hovering around the air for surveillance? The money that would have been used to procure helicopters to hover around the air to pinpoint the locations of kidnappers and their evil deeds, that money will be embezzled by one single Nigerian. Capital flight, he takes it abroad, he keeps it there. Or he digs a hole in his backyard and buries it there. You wonder that up till now, even in our major city centers, we do not have the CCTV cameras. Let me give you a joke. A religious leader took people to a supermarket, his people, and he told them, fear God, no shoplifting, don't steal any item. God is watching you. Remember the teaching he teach you in the mosque and in the church. Okay, they went round. But at the end of the day, people stole items from the supermarket. Then he took them on another visit. And I told them, this place we have, there are CCTV cameras everywhere watching us. Whatever you pick before you go out, you are arrested. Meanwhile, there was none. Behold, nobody stole any item. Nobody stole any item. So sometimes you may not be able to blame some religious leaders that they are not admonishing the members of their congregation. The congregation has not been able to realize that the consciousness of God will have been more effective than the police, the DSS, the customs, the immigration, the EFCC, all combined. If Obaseki boys are not on the street, I can beat traffic lights. Okay, they know they are there. Okay, they know they are make a pass. But assuming it is God consciousness, if I commit this crime, Almighty God is seeing me. You do not need any police. You do not need anybody. But because we are very religious, but we are not godly, we find ourselves with that problem. Now, our police, no incentive. If I say no adequate incentive, let's put it that way. There was a particular time when the criminals decided to go after the police for one reason or the other. In this Edo state, they alleged some things were done that they were not happy with, and they would bring down 20 policemen. Started firing policemen. You just let start for them. I say, oh, if I say one more today here, they are banned out for the 3 days. Then police will go there, they spray them. One of the policemen was a tenant in the house I was managing. When it was gone down, I was hearing then, what was the amount for the widow? 50,000 naira. So you want me to risk my life for the nation? At my death, my family takes 50,000 naira. Where is the incentive? Now, so when the incentive is not there, and the salary you now pay to workers generally is not to make them live a good living, it's been said that the food you give a slave is not meant for it to be fat, but meant for it not to die. That is the whole essence of the so-called minimum wage. So the problem of the economic problem definitely will lead to security challenges where the economy is very difficult. People can hardly eat, they are hungry. Human being is a machine that needs food to survive. When the fuel finishes in your car, the car drops you there. The human being can keep going, but it starts losing strength. That is why you see some of our boys traveling to Libya by desert, no food, no water, must die of starvation. Now you are telling that human being who has no food, who has no water, and there is no social arrangement for the employed, the aged ones, that every month, look at this discipline I will ask for you. You now want him not to stick to crime? We are not justifying crime. He will, of course. And that is why, as far as Islamic law is concerned, it is the duty of the government to provide productive and remunerative job for the citizenry. It is their duty. And all hands has gainfully employed. If all hands are gainfully employed, you are now caught stealing. And what you stole is not to satisfy hunger, it's greed. Possibly you are going to steal a car or millions of naira. Then they are talking of amputating your hand. But we say, no, that punishment is too strict. Don't cut people's hand. Now, what now happens? People will now graduate from stealing to armed robbery. And when it's caught for armed robbery, what is the punishment? Capital punishment. Not cutting of hand now, is execution. Now, Saudi Arabia, for example, where the Sharia is enforced, they enjoy what you can call maximum security. If the welders from Nigeria here, who are responsible for repairing our burglary proofs, travel to Saudi Arabia, they must change their profession. And I'm sure some other countries too, because they do not need burglary proofs that we surround ourselves as prisoners. A man in Saudi entered the bank, packed with sums of money, dumped in his car, the car wide open, went back into the bank, brought more, and everybody was just passing. When it's time for prayers, if you are there in the store, buying items, even jewelries, gold or diamond, once he hears the call to prayer, he leaves the store and he goes to pray. If you know, I will tell you, get out to lock my store. Nobody picks anything. Because you think twice. If I pick this thing and I'm caught, they will cut off my hand. So that will be a signal to identify you. So that when he's coming, they will say, keep your hands set, you know they come home. Because there is a debt. That hand, that wrist that is gone, is already off.
All right, thank you, Alhaji Amin Alao. You've heard them pointing out instances because we're taking a look at the state of the nation, happiness of Nigerians in view, in focus. The security architecture, is it a cause for Nigerians to be happy? You're looking at us. Are you happy? Anyway, let me come back to my guests in the studio. Generally speaking, you talked about the security architecture that is nothing to really cause or to give rise to happiness. We take a look at the rate of kidnappings, the rate of killings, and the rate of theft, you just name it. And of course, our security agencies are doing the best possible, but it's like the best they're doing is not enough. All right, let's leave it at that. Let's take a look at the economy. I mean, someone should just like make Nigerians at least happy in that regard. After all, the partial closure of border is making our farmers to smile, adding this zest to the economy. While you're smiling, it's your turn to talk on this economy.
Yeah.
Does it give rise to joy?
Well, I smile for two things, you know, like first of all, let me say that every state, every country is governed by law. I am not too happy that the border is shut. It might have benefited us, but we have also lost some respect within the international community because there is an agreement that was signed with other countries as regards to border. Then he did mention something about city TV. we're using drone as we talk now, okay? Nigerians, you see, there's a lot of retrogression because of the bad governance that we have. You see, a few weeks ago, a Benin man and a Duma did a drone for American that I had never seen before. So we are very smart people. The unfortunate part that we have here is that we have those who are not very smart people. We allow them to determine how we live our life. They're not very smart people, you know. They're not. Some are smart, but some are not very smart people. No apology. Now, we're talking about the farmers are smiling. Not everybody's happy, because there are some people who do very legitimate business across the border, and I'm sure the lawyers will agree to what I'm saying. So if you shut them out because you shut the border, how do they take care of their family? So I think what is wrong here again is the government failure. You have customs at the borders are so porous. They are not there to manage the border, they're there to manage their pocket. That's why we have problems. We have immigrations there. They are not there to manage the people, to make sure that illegal migrants are not coming to our country. They are there again to manage their pockets. These things are very easy. It's not a rocket science. We can invest in camera. We don't need to build the wall. We can have a central control and know those who are coming in and those who are going out. But the setback we have in Nigeria is the quota system, which of course we need to really discuss. That's why they are afraid about restructuring Nigeria. Now you cannot provide us security. We are providing security for ourselves. The Attorney General is saying they should be arrested. Who say that? Who does that? Attorney General is not a police. It's not. He might have been a law enforcement officer, because every lawyers are also law enforcement officer. But it doesn't have a right to make law to Nigerians. It doesn't have a right to tell me not to have security in my house. Because if the plans of the Yorubas or whatever to protect Lagos, they are not only protecting the Yorubas, they are also protecting me as an Edoma, they are also protecting the Amuchima, they are also protecting the Garama or the Isokoman. And they also have the same things in the north. And I think because of their exifalon, because when they have, or some of them have 110, they passed. We have 270 here, we failed. And then some of them will not rise to the rank of IG or Attorney General. So we are in problem, because we don't deal with the situation here with merit. We deal with the situation in Nigeria with nepotism and favoritism. So I'm going back to what you're saying again about the economy of the state. Both in the state and the federal, again, we failed. You are aware today that, I believe today is 19, is it 19? Yeah. There's a summit today in Lagos. They are doing what they call, they're calling it a town hall meeting. In Benin, they sort of call it masquerade. We call it Ekpo. If the masquerade did not dance at all, how would you recognize the masquerade? How would you be secure or having that confidence that the masquerade is going to go dance outside? Now, we have the civil society. And I can tell you, Edo leads and all that follow. We're very smart people here. Very smart people in Edo State. We are unique people. Now, we have civil society here who have been begging our governor here, we need to talk to you. You need to interact with us. We need to know you better. You have done well in some areas we are not very pleased. He refused to talk to us. And now the same governor here is taking our economy to Lagos to go and do a town hall meeting. If you do a town hall meeting, there will be artisans, there will be drivers, there will be my seller, there will be guguru seller, there will be lawyers who will be fortunate to meet some other people on interactions that would lead to a better thing, a greater thing tomorrow. You took the summit, or whatever you want to call it, to Lagos State. And the Lagos people, they are registered voters in Lagos. They don't vote in Edo State. They don't pay taxes here. You subject us to pay taxes here. These people are technocrats. So what is the economy we're talking about? You are taking the economy of a state here where we pay taxes. Again, I'm not here to come and condemn Obaseki or criticizing. I'm talking about we need business people to surround our governors, to guide them. These are they are not monarchies. Right. They are not emperors.
Okay.
We voted for them. Not because they are more educated than us, or because they are more handsome than us, or because they are more favored by God than us, but because we all cannot lead a ship. There must be a captain.
All right. Thank you. Ultimate equal.
But can I just end one again? And again, our president-elect said, it is not only going to create job for us, it's also going to give us welfare package. Even if when he said 5,000, we're not that pleased with it, that it was too small. But my children are yet to receive the 5,000. I am yet to receive the 5,000.
Come on.
I'm not sure if
it's not people like you. It's not people like you. We're talking about the downtrodden.
Anyway, women and children, they are all children.
Okay. I'll come back to you. Now, Barrister Douglas Obankwa, from what he said, the economy is almost like it doesn't give him joy when you take a look at the economy. We're talking about the happiness of Nigerians, and they're tied to all these pillars we're talking about. Over to you, the economic pillar.
If you look at the Nigerian economy, let me start from the Finance Act that was signed into law by the President in the second week of the first week of January, increasing the value-added tax to 7.5% from 5%. And there are some other, incentives for maybe small-scale industries and all that, So there the organized, they call them the OPS, the organized private sector, have questioned the propriety of increasing the value-added tax, particularly because they may not have been efforts to ensure that there is, increase in production and all that would necessitate your bringing about such jack in the tax system, when it comes to goods. You talked about, my friend talked about the closure of the Nigerian borders.
Partial closure.
It's closure. It was partial closure.
They call it partial closure.
No, it's closure. It was closed. The closure of Nigerian borders. From my understanding, it may have assisted some farmers to sell their rice, poultry people to sell their birds, especially during this last Unitide period. But the question, like you also asked, is what about others? There are people who do legitimate business. Understand that a lot of tomatoes are going rotten because this used to. A lot of agricultural products are going bad because they used to process and export them through the borders. You see, Nigeria is a very funny country. When we fail in our regulation, we will now head towards sanctions. You understand what I'm saying? We like banning, closing, you understand them, removing, all those. Can't we just think outside the normal box? You understand what I'm saying? In one breath, you sign the African Free Trade Agreement. In other breath, you are closing your border. Is that not antithetical?
Partially.
If the border is closed or not, there's nothing like partial closure here.
According to what we were told is partial
The border is
closure.
closed. You understand? You have signed the ECOWAS protocol agreeing for free movement of goods. Free trade. And you understand? Then you are closing your border. Is that not antithetical? Is it not contradictory? Is it not paradoxical? All over the world, the trend is for there to be integration. I'm talking about regional integration here. Okay, fine. I bumped into the Minister of Information in Abuja recently, and he was trying to tell me how the Benin Republic economy had benefited all the way from this our border, and also how in his wisdom he feels that government think in their wisdom the best way to solve this problem is to close the border, at least to stop You know, and I asked him some questions. I said, what about, just like my friend here, I thought about the other people who do business through the borders.
Genuine business.
Genuine business through the borders. Do you understand? Even in the Ghanaians are even taking reprisal measures against us, because I hear our businesses are now being clamped down in Ghana. Because they too will have to say, okay, these guys are, you see, the Nigerian economy is central, as you know. It's like the fulcrum of the economy in West Africa. So anything we do would definitely affect the rest of them. Now, apart from these pockets of farmers, can we ask ourselves, what is the benefit of the closure of borders on an ordinary Nigerian? Has it improved his income? Has it made him more productive? Has it given him opportunities? Like I asked the minister that day, as you close the border, what efforts have you also made to fund production at the local level? Have you given people free loan and all that, or maybe loan or grant? I told someone, I said, the owner of Facebook, his name is Mark Zuckerberg. If he was a Nigerian, there would have been no Facebook. And the person asked me why. I said, okay, let me tell you why. In America, they have an economic program in place that when you have an idea that can change the world, they don't give you a loan, they give you a grant. That is how Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook. When he made the presentation, they didn't give him a loan. And it's not here that we do, you win, you know, we give you 500,000, 1 million. They will give you good money for you to do your business. Then again, let's call a spade a spade. You cannot talk about the economy without someone having food on his table. The federal government said they have a social protection system in place, which was formerly under the office of the vice president. You had a special advisor, Miriam Uwais. Then in the second tenure, the president set up a Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. I haven't seen what humanitarian thing that the ministry is doing. And you cannot have a social protection system that is based on the whims and caprices of one or two people. It must be provided for by law. Why don't you make a law and say that for this category of persons, when you have no job, we hear of food stamps. You can't have food stamps. There should be legislations put in place.
All right.
Please, I'm not done, sir.
All right.
There should be legislations put in place to make this thing so that, because in Nigeria, if Buhari leaves now, what happens next? We shouldn't have a system in place. Nigeria is not a country that is moved by system. It's a system that is moved by people. So you see that someone can just wake up in the morning and say, okay, right now, this is what we want to do. It has become like policy. We should have laws in place so that if someone is out of his job, he should be able to have palliative measures to assist him to live by day after day. You understand? We are not providing for the poor, for the downtrodden. People literally beg to eat in this country. Sometimes when you are driving, you're walking, someone will say, oh God, I never use this money. Please, I need money to eat, just to eat. Sometimes we take it for granted that some of us are lucky to have these basic things come to us naturally. People are suffering. The government should put in place laws that will provide for the poor, for the unemployed. You understand? Look at the NYSC, for example. I've been a proponent that the National Youth Service Corps, or the National Youth Service, should be scrapped. And someone asked me why. I spoke in a national conference. And I told them, I said, the National Youth Service is a white elephant project. Of course, they're always wearing white. And I said, why did you say that? I said, because it takes the federal government about 2 million naira to take care of a copper from when he or she enters the camp to when he or she does his passing out parade. And I asked the question, that about 2 million naira you put on a youth copper, what impact does it have in you for that 1 year? Nothing. Why don't you just call the youth copper for a 2 weeks entrepreneurial course and write in the check of, let's say that's 1.5 million. You see the economy will be booming.
Of course.
Right.
You have young Nigerian students. If you go and check Nigerian students, you don't have students of those that used to rely on mama and papa every day. They now do. You see that they are selling things.
Okay.
They're selling perfume.
All
they're
right.
selling human. They're selling.
They're hardworking. Thank you, Barrister.
So the NYSC should be scrapped.
That's your own
It's
opinion.
a white elephant project.
That is your own opinion. That is your opinion.
It won't be your opinion before it's mine.
People may differ. People may differ. Later, I'm going to invite them to really talk about that. That's going to be a separate topic, but not just today.
Okay.
Over to you, Barrister Alao Amin, talking about the economy, which is among the pillars of Nigerians being happy.
Thank you very much. Let me start with the issue of the closure of the borders. These are the issue of the visa on arrival. You see, the closure of the borders. We have in Nigeria predominantly Muslims and Christians. So we believe in God. And Almighty God, our Creator, the way He created the universe, this theory of interdependence is of utmost importance. If we want to sincerely close the borders, then those in government, those in authority should return all those cars they are driving manufactured from abroad. In fact, the presidential jet should not be manufactured in Nigeria. Let us stop this deceit and hypocrisy. When you import goods here and there, and you enjoy foreign goods, what is the justification for closing the borders? Some are stranded, some are enjoying. That is why Islam forbids gambling. Because gambling makes some to be happy and some to be sad. When you play the pool, you win and jubilating. Those whose money are analysis. They are not happy.
Come on, we're not here to mention name of aspects right now. Of course.
They are not happy. And that is why Prophet Islam forbade the sale of unharvested crops. He said it is not permissible in Islam. For example, I will say you have this farmland. Okay, you planted 2,000 yams. I want to buy the yam. Thinking that it's going to be a bumper harvest, then I paid heavily for it. At the end of the day, if the harvest was not bumper, then I become sad. Look, see the yam come small like this. Let's go the apple. That is why it's forbidden in Islam for you to buy what you are not seeing. Because at the end of the day, somebody will be happy. We still be happy. Thank God I put sell to Yabo. I don't know say the yam go buy, but I have already paid. Now, the borders are to encourage further interaction between human beings, between the human race. The only thing government can do is to possibly, if you like, increase the custom duty or the tariffs to discourage importation of goods. If you see that if the imported rice comes to Nigeria, it becomes 50,000 naira per bag, and the local rice is 10,000 naira. Nobody will go for foreign rice, or many will not go for foreign rice. So this one is cheaper. The government can do that, but not now. After closing the borders, then shortly thereafter, okay, visa on arrival. Now you ask me, or let me ask those in authority. Who are those in the African countries or our neighbors? What is it in your country that will really entice them to come to your country? Is it the epileptic power supply that will make them to let me go to Nigeria? Or is it the potholes on our road? Or is it the Boko Haram and the security challenges that we have in Nigeria that will encourage an investor or a colleague African to come to Nigeria? When what makes them happy, we have closed it. Let me use Wilson's word, temporary closure. And then we are enduring partial closure. And we are enduring that partial suffering. So I will advise that the borders be open. Steps can be taken to control the movement of ensure that the custom officers they are diligent in their duties and so on and so forth. Now, having said that, the economy of a nation is of utmost importance, and that is why even in place of worship, Prophet said in one tradition, if your lunch or food is served and it's time for prayer, go and eat before praying. Because if you have not ate, you have not eaten, you are hungry, you cannot even concentrate in your prayers. And so you cannot separate religion from economy. It's not possible. And that is why religion recognizes the fact that where the economy is so bad, the government is performing well, people are hungry, even under Islamic law, the punishment of amputation of hand is suspended. So Nigeria, for example, is not a country where you can enforce the Sharia law of amputating people's hand because people are hungry. In the history of Islam, at the time of Umar bin al-Khattab, when he saw that there was famine, he suspended the punishment of amputation of hand. They said, why now, President? I mean, why do you do that? He said, people who are hungry will be tempted to steal. But what happens in Nigeria? Fela sang, authorities stealing past armed robbery.
Yes.
The one who has stolen fish or bread, if he's not careful, will end up in the prison. But the one who has stolen your millions and billions of naira, if he's afraid of being prosecuted, you can just drop your umbrella and carry the broom. I don't know if that's understood. I will not say
No, just leave it at that because you don't mention name. I didn't mention name.
So now we need as a people to actually be very, very conscious of the economy and ensure that things are properly done to improve the lot of the masses. So those of us who are in government will be begging you, will appeal to you to please. Because if you look at the commandments, the 10 commandments, Jesus said that the greatest of the commandments is that, hear, O Israel, your Lord our God, he said, hear, O Israel, your Lord our God is one God, and you shall love thy neighbor as thyself. And there is no other commandment greater than these two. These are the two greatest commandments. Love thy neighbor as thyself. If you are in position of authority, you have the allowance, furniture allowance, you have the fuel allowance, you have the toilet allowance, you have all the allowance. People who do not have the allowances, ensure that you make life meaningful and comfortable for them as much as possible. And of course, God will also bless you.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. You were talking about the happiness of Nigerians, and you can't talk about the happiness of Nigerians. We're talking about the pillars of happiness in Nigeria. We're talking about Nigeria and not spiritual aspects, religious aspects, politics, economy, security, power supply, health, education, agriculture. These are the major pillars when we talk about a stable nation. If these things are in place, tell me, what will be the rate at which persons or individuals in a country will be like when you talk about happiness? We just can't go through politics, we just can't go through power right now because of time constraint. We want to go for a short break. When we return, we'll take a look at also the state of the nation, the prospect of an Eastern president come 2023. After all, former President Gowon talked about that. We'll be right back after this short break.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. I'd like to let you know that whatever you hear from my guest here, talking about the first interview segment, the same set of guests, is entirely down opinion. It has nothing to do with ITV Radio, all right? It has nothing to do with us. Well, if you're just joining us, you've missed so much. All you need to do, go to our YouTube channel at ITV Radio NG and go through the videos. You're going to see this discussion, okay? Listen to it, watch it, you can comment, you can like, You can add on or two things to rate. Better still get interactive in our social media platform. Another one talking about our Twitter handle at ITV Radio NG, or on my own personal Twitter handle at Marshall Wilson. We get talking. What about our Facebook page? Yeah, we can get all talking and chatty. We'll talk about issues that concerns the nation. Over the week, talking about last week, former President Gowon talked about the prospect of having an Easterner to be president come 2023. He said, yes, sure, why not? If that is going to unify the country. And many Nigerians will be reacting to it. This is not the first time it's coming. That topic is coming up, but this time out is coming from a former president, head of state, saying it. Gentlemen, the state of the nation, the eastern part of the country have been clamoring to have a bite of the national cake. We're talking about leading the country after, the Civil War. Last week it was 50 years after the Nigerian Civil War and all that. And Gowon in a symposium or lecture talked about it. If it's going to form integrity, regional cohesion, why not? Keep the nation in 2023. Pedro, how do you feel about that?
Well, we're talking about the Easterners. Are they Nigerians? Are they Nigerians? So if they are Nigerians, they have a right, because I am fortunate enough to have a dual citizenship. I'm a Canadian. I've been a Canadian citizen for the past 30 years. Okay, and from where I come from, it's a bilingual system. It means that we have the French and the English. And if you look at the history of the Canadians, the French people have been fortunate to govern or to rule Canada. But most of us don't even know our prime minister or our governor, because the reason why things are working. Because if they are not working, we go out there and use a ballot to vote them out and vote somebody in to replace them. But I'm going to say this because of my dear brother, the clerist, very sound. He talks and refer whenever he speaks to Quran and even refer to the Bible. Because his last statement was about Jesus Christ, and I was very overwhelmed. But for me, I'm not very religious, but I do know that there's a creator. And I'm not afraid to say things to the fake anointed pastors or the fake, other people of other faiths. I read somewhere in the Bible where Jesus Christ fed 5,000 people that were hungry. And I'm sure he knows that passage. But today, 5,000 hungry people are feeding pastors. What an ironic. 5,000 people, poor people, are feeding pastors. We're in an era of technology. We're in an era now where you have more female pilots in other African countries. But today, Sunday, we're having our Nigerian women seeking miracles in churches, looking for husbands and looking for the fruit of womb, believing that a human being will do it for them. Until we reduce the billboards of pastors in our roads and replace them with factories, we're going to be having more problems. The problem here is not who governs us. The problem here is there's too much power in the center. There's too much concentrations in the house of God and the house of Allah and the house of Buddhism. And you look at one thing and imagine it, that in Japan, you have more free thinkers in Japan, and they are very successful. You have atheists, those who didn't even think there's no God, and yet God bless them because they are doing the right thing. And that is why he said the greatest thing is that love thy neighbor as yourself. When we tolerate people, we love people, we respect people, we create a legacy, and we do not give consent to people to insult us mentally. Nigeria will change. But a lot of us are giving consent to some public officer who have taken a common patrimony. Somebody rob you, and then the person also take your taxpayers' money to protect himself with the police after stealing from you. That's a poetic justice. It's a very poetic justice. Until we tell them that we cannot accept this again, we go to the streets, we will fight for our right, because it's two choices. You either live free or die. And that's why I continue to say this. The reason why I say this thing with due respect to the sincere pastors and to the sincere Muslim clerics is that I've been to hell, I've lived in hell. So I'm not afraid to die and go to hell. I'm already living in one.
All right. Okay. Patriot, thank you, Patriot. I'll come back to you.
A man who is dead.
I'll come back to you.
No, Douglas, a man who is already dead or not wounded.
Okay. Nobody's dying here. Nobody's dying here.
I said I have been living in air.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning. Did you know what happened to me? My children were traumatized. They don't come to Nigeria again.
Okay, fine.
Let me tell you that now, please. Because I brought them to Nigeria, and in the middle of nowhere, they took the light. My children started screaming, "Daddy, I'm going blind." Because and from that day, my children never entered Nigeria again. And you want to tell me I'm not living here?
Okay, I'll come back to you.
How dare you say that?
I'll come back to you.
I just bought children.
Say, Daddy, I'm blind. I say, you are not blind. He said, what is never blind?
Douglas, I don't know.
I just bought children.
Ultimate equal. Well, anyway, I'll come back to you on that. Now, Barrister Douglas, the prospect of having an Eastern president come 2023, from what he said, doesn't really matter who governs us. He talked about them being Nigerians, so they have the right to have a bite.
I think the truth about this country is that the Easterners, the Igbos, are the most marginalized in Nigeria. That's just the home truth. I'll take also a little back in history. The 1st of October 1960, Nnamdi Azikiwe became the first president of Nigeria. He was an Igbo man. But he wasn't an executive president, he was a ceremonial president, you know, sign flight tickets, take Independence Day salute, the real powers of Tafawa Balewa, the prime minister. There was a coup, the 15th of January 1966. It was led by another Igbo man called Major Kaduna Chukwuma Nzelgo. Another Igbo man took over power. His name was Major General John C. Thomas Umanikwe Agiransi. On the 16th the next day. He was killed on the 29th of July 1966, the coup led by Yakubu Gowon. That eventually led to the Nigerian Civil War. And the war lasted till the 15th of January 1970. That is why you see that day is regarded as the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. After the war, of course, Gowon was overthrown again by Murtala Mohammed. And Mohammed was assassinated 13th of February 1976. Olusegun Obasanjo took over power. Then handed over to Shehu Shagari. Shehu Shagari was overthrown by the then Major General Muhammadu Buhari.
All right, now you just hold on. We want to go for a break. When we return, you're going to continue with that history lesson of yours, talking about the prospect of having an Eastern president come 2023. We'll be right back. Do stay with us.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's all about the state of the nation. We're taking a look at the prospect of an Eastern president emerging in 2023. All right, Douglas, we are with you before we went on that break. Take off from where you stop in that analogy of your historic antecedent.
Okay, so on the 1st of October 1979, Shehu Shagari became president. He was overthrown on the 31st of December 1983 by the then Major General Muhammadu Buhari. Of course, you know Shehu Shagari is a northerner from Sokoto State, from the northeast. Muhammad Buhari, also another northerner from Katsina State, from the northwest. Then Ibrahim Babangida overthrew Muhammad Buhari, 27th of August 1985, another northerner from the Middle Belt, that is Niger. He then handed over to Sani Abacha on the 26th of August 1993, another northerner from Kano State, the Northwest. Of course, you know Abacha, there was an interregnum of about 80 days. Shoneko and Shonekon, who was the head of ING, Interim National Government. And then, of course, we knew that, what I mean is handed over to Shonekon before Abacha overthrew on the 17th of November 1993. Then, of course, Abacha died on the 8th of June 1998. We all know there are some lot of rumors going on how he died. Then on 9th of June, the Salam Abubakar became the first military head of state to be sworn in by the Chief Justice, then Chief Justice of Nigeria, Mohammed Iwais. And he handed over, he's also a northerner, talking about Abubakar is from Niger State. Then he handed over to Olusegun Obasanjo again, southerner from Ogun State, who handed over to Sheikh Musa Yar'Adua, northerner, and that's on the 29th of May 2007. So that Yar'Adua, of course, is from Katsina State, a northerner from Katsina State. That is the north-west. Yar'Adua, of course, died, I think on the 8th of April 2009, and the next day, Goodluck Jonathan was sworn in as president. Goodluck Jonathan is from Bayelsa State, the south-south. Jonathan was defeated by Muhammad Buhari again, and he was sworn in an election. He was sworn in on the 29th of May 2015. On that northerner from Katsina State. That is where we are. So it is very, very clear that in the history of Nigeria, the Igbos have not had a president in the real sense of it. What's his name? Agui Ironsi was a military head of state. Nnamdi Azikiwe was a ceremonial president. Even Agui Ironsi, that had some executive powers, was there for just 6 months. What led to that coup was because he was trying to bring about the unitary system of government, and the Northerners were afraid of the fear that the Igbos were coming to dominate Nigeria. So it's for equity, fair play, even spread. It will only be very, very fair for an Igbo man to be the candidate of the two major political parties in Nigeria, because they feel marginalized. They feel they feel that they're not being included in the governance of this country. Even if you look at the current hierarchical arrangement in Nigeria, there is no Igbo man in the line of secession. The president is an Hausa man, the vice president is a Yoruba man, the Senate president is an Hausa man, the speaker is a Yoruba man, the deputy Senate president is an honorable man, the deputy speaker is a Yoruba man, the Chief Justice of Nigeria is an Hausa man. So you just check Nigeria, the way we were taught, I don't know if they've changed it in social studies, said the Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba are the major tribes in Nigeria. Now, there's no Igbo man in the scheme of things in this country. So they seem to be marginalized like that. So it's only fair that the Igbos should be given the presidency. Because that's what we know. In the Constitution of Nigeria does not provide for rotational presidency. However, the parties in their wisdom have a rotational arrangement in place where they tend to zone the presidential position to a particular zone. And of course, you know that there are 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. You have the northwest, the northeast, the north central, the southwest, the southwest, and the southwest, the southeast, and the south-south. And in Nigerian current democratic dispensation from 1999 to date, only 2 regions have not produced a president. That is the southeast and the northeast.
I'll come back to you. Barrister, I mean, he just gave us a lecture about the rotation of power, so to speak of Nigeria as a nation. Take it up from there.
Thank you very much. I think he has still done the strength of trying to go back in that memory lane.
Yeah.
So I will still go back a little, but with a different dimension or approach. You see, sometimes people may be responsible for some positions they may find themselves, and if we start looking at the fact that we claim to be all Nigerians, but we have refused to accept the fact that we are just Nigerians, we continue to encounter and experience all this discrimination or seemingly discrimination and so on and so forth. If we are saying that yes, the Igbos, apart from Zik and Aguiyi, who are ceremonial president and military head of state respectively, no other Igbo man has been the president of this nation. How about a place like Edo State or Delta State? Are they not part of Nigeria? In fact, how about Oyo State? Even though it's part of the South West, we have not had a president from that state. It is not possible for it to go around if you are talking of national interest. And then we also have the religious coloration, which is not also helping matters. And what I observe personally is that as far as Nigerians are concerned, the masses do not care wherever you come from. All we want is a good leader. If we are to care where we come from, we will not believe in the Jesus that is not from Nigeria or the Muhammad that was not from Nigeria. So if you can believe in them, then of course we should be able to believe in any Nigerian, immaterial of where he comes from. I do not believe if say, oh, I want to vote for XYZ because he comes from a particular part of the country, or it should be the turn of a particular person because he came from a particular or geographical location in the country. Now, why I say Nigeria do not care? If you look at the voting pattern sometimes, Nigeria will jettison even religious discrimination. For example, look at the June 12 election. It was Muslim ticket. Abiola came. And then, but who annulled it? Another Muslim, IBB, former President Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, annulled that election.
You're right.
Now, going further, when that happened, Shoneka was brought in. You step in for your brother, who is not allowed to rule. Then Abacha came in and took over. At the particular time, oh, Abiola and Abacha, they had two problems, so let's get rid of both of them. Abacha died, people were jubilating. Abiola died, people were mourning. As far as Abubakar came in, thereafter, he conducted an election. That election led to the appointment of Olusegun Obasanjo. Oh, the person that we denied June 12 was a Yoruba man, is from Ogun State. You better give a man from Ogun State. Let us compensate them. After all, Obasanjo is from the same state with Abiola. And that explains why Shonekon was from Ogun State. I beg, go there. So about further crisis. And that explains why Shonekon from Ogun State, Obasanjo from Ogun State, nobody from Ondo State now, not from Oyo State now, another state in the West. Now let's go further. When Obasanjo left, oh, he identified Yaradua as a good material. This man is honest. He has worked in Katsina State, and his treasury is full. I think I back him up. Then some were complaining, Yaradua. Okay, it's all right. Let the EFCC go after you people, let you be strange. If you are clean like Yaradua, then you can come out and back you. They say, oh, let him have it, let him have it, let him have it. So Yaradua had it. People say, oh, he knew that he was of ill health. Only God knows when you will go. The man on hospital bed there on oxygen may survive. Why you healthy man may not get to your house? Now, when Yaradua died, before he died, there was agitation from the Niger Delta area. And of course, Obasanjo said, what do we do now? Oh, let us compensate them. Let's get the deputy from that region to make them keep quiet. And it worked. So they kept quiet. When Yaradua died, oh, what do we do now? Oh, if another that is president, let another country. No. Doctrine of mercy has to be invoked. And that was how the man from the minority tribe, President Goodluck Jonathan, he was actually a good luck person, became the president. And when he ruled, when he lost election, he bowed out as a gentleman. He did not argue. And then over power. Of course, President Muhammadu Buhari. Without consulting other party members who will have said, no, we don't agree. We will not go release the results. We don't go agree. But he bowed out. And today, we respect him for that. Now, Buhari took over. Buhari is now in position of authority. While some Westerners are warming up. Some are saying, oh, it's not the turn of the West. Some are saying, no, not are saying, no, it's still their turn, that the West had how many years? West and the South. They know, so I'm coming, sorry. It's now not legal West now. The South they had 6 years in Jonathan, they had 8 years of Obasanjo, that's 40 years now. The North, we have only had now, Yaradua, tenure was short, Buhari, so let us complete that now. Now, people are now saying, let us give it to the East. It's not the turn of the evil one. But the problem is this: Nigerians have not forgotten the civil war. Some Nigerians are still afraid that if an evil presidency emerges, they may want to secede. On a platter of gold now, let's just go. For long we want Biafra. Without fear, there is the deliberate attempt to sideline them, to sidetrack them, to ensure that no, don't try to give them Senate president, doesn't matter. But that presidential power, you may be taking a risk. And if you see the agitation that is ongoing,
all right.
The agitation ongoing, the Kano issue and the rest of it. Oh, are we safe if we hand back power to them? President Buwan is another factor on his own. Buwan, though a northerner, is not a Muslim. He's a Christian. So when Aguiyi Rossi was killed in the coup, what do? We now have North and the South, and then Christian Muslim. Oh, the man that died from the South, a Christian. Now, Gowon is a northerner, but he's a Christian. Let Gowon go. And that was how I came in. Then Muritala came in, overthrew Gowon, and some say, oh, possibly a Muslim has taken over again from the Christian, let's kill him. Now, the security issue. Why you not blame some leaders when you see their convoy long? Muritala Muhammad was a gentleman. He does not believe in long convoy. And that led to his assassination. People capitalized on that. When he was going for human service, they attacked his convoy and finished him because he believed in simple security, not knowing that Nigerians are not after that. Now, after Muritala's death, let's come to the issue of other areas. Nigeria is now so complicated, you cannot dichotomize and say this tribe or that tribe. For example, the Igbo investment is all over the country. So that should be enough signal for people to know that the Igbos are not trying to secede. There is no unanimous decision by the Igbos to say we want to break away. They have investments in the north, in the west, in the south, all over the place. Even in Edo State, they are buying properties. Now, but at the same time, we need to trust our Igbo brothers, ensure that the goods we manufacture are genuine and that the ones you also import are okay. By way of rounding off, thank you. If you look at intermarriages,
hold on now. Do they have a right to read Community 3? Because you are bringing us to another lecture because our time is up. PD says we should wrap it up right now because we have to do some other things.
Okay.
It's okay because we don't really have time to go through. But from your own analysis, you pointed the fact that yes, they deserve a shot. You talked about fear. Our time is up.
Yeah, I just want to say something.
I know.
My friend says that nobody cares. People really care.
They
like
care.
in the north, they don't take presidency as child's play.
Thank
you see
you.
them, no, they care. That's where we miss it in the South.